we've already talked about the constant fear mongering, and it'll never stop. But on News and Why It Matters, I talked about this the date. So what's today? The 7th of April, I think. So if you go watch the Monday show, so that'll be 2 days ago. So the show on the 5th, yeah. And I discussed how not just the can gets kicked down the road constantly when it comes to COVID, but mainly how the more people, whether it be in states, areas, local areas, geographical areas, that say, you know what, no more. The more that happens, we know that their narrative falls apart. But you got to understand, they're not going to stop. They're going to ramp it up because they're balls deep, dog. They're all the way. They can't go back. They've committed to this propaganda and to this fear mongering and a lot of them are getting off on it, right? Not just them being able to reroute funds to themselves by way of the state and using this crisis to do so. A lot of guys have gained popularity, Fauci, in doing that. And I think a lot of people are basking in this. So the longer the pandemic is a thing, the more they get to benefit from it. So the government officials are not going to let up, especially the public officials are not going to let up. Here we go again with this variant bullcrap. Title of this: UK variant is now the dominant corona strain, says CDC chief. Coronavirus variant was first identified in the UK. Says based on our recent estimates, of course you have to go off the CDC's recent estimates. Recent estimates from CDC surveillance, the B117, that's the deadly UK variant, is now the most common lineage circulating in the United States. Studies have suggested, you can just say studies suggest something and you can do whatever it is that you want to the populace, that the UK variant is more contagious than the original strain and is possibly, they don't know, of course, is possibly more dangerous and associated with a higher risk of death. Possibly. They don't know, of course. It's possibly. There are currently 16,275 confirmed cases of the B117 variant in the United States, according to the CDC. The country's daily rate of new cases over the last 4 weeks, part of that is due to the spread of the B11. They are saying that the cases rose, and that's due to the B11 variant. And other concerning variants. So it's not just the B117 variant. It's that South African variant that they're talking about. The double mutant, triple mutant. Last month, evidence was mounting that the variant was possibly already dominant, not dormant. In the U.S., the time CDC declined to say what variant was dominant, but predicted it would be within a few weeks. And now the UK variant, not the other variants. The UK variant is not prominent, guys. Serious question for if you're reading this after the fact or watching this after the fact, or you're watching it now live. Question: when the flu, and this is just a general question, some of you guys are in the medical field, I'm not. When the flu, you get a vaccine for the flu. You guys may. Aren't they necessarily accounting for other, what would you call that? Would you call that another variant? Influenza variant? Would you call that? Because you know that it's not the same vaccine isn't necessarily as effective as they try to basically predict what's going to be there. But my question is, would you consider is a strain variant? Like what are those different terms? Or are they the same? Because if they are the similar, at minimum similar concepts, what's the big deal? So it changes. That's why they say you need to get it every year, and they say that you need to, obviously it's what I'm talking about with the flu. They're trying to account for this version or strain of the flu. So here's COVID. Now we have a different variant. What's the difference? Y'all do understand that, and I'm not saying this as a, doom and gloomer. I'm just letting you guys know this doesn't stop until it stops. A lot of people have too much to gain and way too much to lose in the event that the pandemic isn't at the forefront of everybody's mind. Not the pandemic, the virus, this idea. Because I've made this clear as I possibly could. None of what we're doing makes sense in comparison to how we've not just understood viruses, but more so how we've interacted with each other in terms of humans. None of this makes sense. Well, you got actual crackpots going nuts in the event that they see someone not covering their face with a mask because they fear that they might catch a virus from them that has, and they have over, depending on what health demographic they're in, they have over a 99% chance of surviving it. Y'all understand we've never done that. Not with anything else. Not the flu, not with anything. The threat of catching having viruses passed on to each other, that was a thing that existed long before COVID-19. Things with vaccines and things without it, such as, again, viral pneumonia that's not associated with it. You could pass that. Someone else can get very sick, get pneumonia, a virus, and there'd be no cure. You can just treat the symptoms. And sometimes a lot of people die from it. That happened prior to COVID-19. Yet we didn't tell people to just cover their faces all the time or lock things down. You can't link. What we're doing is unprecedented, and not because the virus is. No, that's not what it is. It's because the reaction to it is. But it doesn't stop until people decide. And this is why, as Mississippi, Texas, and those guys, they'll say it's premature, but they open. You understand why they want doom and gloom, right? It's not because, they want you to be safe. No, it blows a hole in everything it is that they're saying. They can't have examples like that existing, because then the brainlets that have been following them at least start to second guess their reaction and say, well, okay, the sky isn't falling. Have we been just listening to you for this long extended period of time just to do it? Well, maybe yeah. They can't have examples like that being a thing. So this is the new play, the variants. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.